Now that we have done our triangles and our strips, we need to get to where we can put our squares together. So our nice little triangles are all ready, so we're going to put those aside here. And now we have our strips that we ironed out after we sewed them together, because we always iron in between steps. I think I'm just going to go ahead and fold this over and make it a little bit easier. Make sure my seams run dead center down it. Don't want any things going off here. So, looks like it's gonna work. Seams all lined up. One of the things that I do that's helpful is I line my ruler up along the middle seam. Sometimes these can be off maybe 1/8 of an inch, and it's not a big deal, but it does help in the long run here. So our square was 2 inches and we had 2.5. So we want to keep that 2.5 on the side since we have it in the middle. So when we cut it, it's going to be a 2.5 inch strip here. And simple as that, we now have 2 pieces. What we will do is flip them around, but since this is our flamingo, we can't flip it unless we want our legs in the air. So we'll mix those with other pieces. Like so. And then we're going to go through all of our strips here and see how many we have. Something tells me I'm going to have a bunch more little squares than I am triangles. If that's the case, I will dig out some more white and add my triangles with this to try to even it out a little bit. And when I get to where I'm making the full quilt, we'll stack up the blocks and see what's best for them. All right, so now that we've got all these cut, we're just going to start running them together. So the first thing we're going to do is flip, make sure that our greens are opposite and our pattern are opposite. Match up our little seam lines here. And find our flip petal. And now we have our little bitty blocks going. So we're just going to mix all these up as we go. There's not going to be a whole lot of rhyme or reason to it because I'm using my plain as my kind of grounding color, you could say. So we're just going to sit here and mix and match and alternate them through. Then, because I like doing long strings of things, so I put the triangles, just keep running it through. And you can set several out at a time. It's a little bit easier that way. All right, now that we have all of our little pieces together, we have all of our little square pieces in a stack here, and we have all of our triangle pieces in a stack here. Now it's time to start working on a bigger block. And when we do that, we're going to take it a row at a time. So we're going to go the first row, second row, third row. But before we do that, we're probably going to just set up. And so here our dark color is going to be the green. So that way all of our wonkiness doesn't match, but all of our green will, and it'll turn out a lot better. So what we're going to do is we're just going to start by setting them all out just to give us an idea of where we're going to be. So, and then our white is going to be up there. And turn in the green. Got a little bit of selvage edge, but the seam should be close enough on that it shouldn't matter. Then we're going to fill the rest of this in with just no rhyme or reason. Just kind of putting them out there here. And make sure that those don't touch. So that way we have them laid out basically how we're going to do it. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take it over. We're going to sew these three together, these three together, and these three together. I think I mentioned this before, but I'm terrible at pinning. But we will pin more here shortly. So what we're going to do is we're going to line up our corners here. Find our foot pedal that's lost. Flip it over. Line up our corners over here. Here and there. Third of the way through our first block. Set that to the side. Pull these over. If you notice, our flamingos didn't end up upside down or upright. They ended up sideways. Because apparently I was not paying attention which way and what all I was doing. But it's okay. Not a big deal, right? It's just flamingo legs. Gonna flip it over. Go on there. here. So we're gonna just barely adjust it there. It's a little more centered. All right, second row, set that on top there. Pull these out. Put that over here. That, I'm gonna scoot over a little bit so it's a little more. If you pay attention to your seams, you can keep a lot of it straight as opposed to trying to keep your seams when you first line them up like this. You're like, oh no, this is off here, this is off here. And you got a little bit of wiggle room where you can adjust it as you sew to keep it, give it a better straight line than trying to line up the fabric. Alright, so here are our 3 rows. Now what we're going to do is go iron, because we all love to iron. And then we'll put these 3 together and our block will be almost done.